Life moves like a river, its waters constantly shifting, its current ever-changing. As we move through time, we are swept along by the flow of events, emotions, relationships, and circumstances. Yet, too often, we find ourselves clinging to the banks, afraid to let go, afraid to be carried into the unknown. We resist change, fearing what might lie ahead, convinced that what is familiar is safer than what is unfamiliar. But what if we stopped resisting? What if we learned to embrace the natural flow of life, trusting that every shift and transformation has something to teach us? What if, instead of fighting against change, we allowed ourselves to flow with it, trusting that life will carry us where we need to go? Rumi, the 13th century Persian poet and mystic, offers us timeless wisdom on this very subject. His teachings remind us that change is not our enemy, but our teacher. In one of his most profound quotes, he says, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, embrace them, let life flow through you." These words invite us to release our fears, to surrender to the rhythm of life, and to trust in the process of unfolding. In today's video, we'll explore this powerful quote by Rumi. We'll unpack the deeper meaning of embracing change and explore how resisting life's natural flow often leads to unnecessary suffering. We'll reflect on the ways in which embracing change can bring us greater peace, growth, and fulfillment. So sit back, relax, and join me on this unfolding journey. Welcome to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel, a space dedicated to exploring the deep wisdom of spiritual masters, philosophers, and thinkers who have inspired humanity throughout the ages. Here, we dive into teachings that encourage self-awareness, personal growth, and inner peace. If you're seeking guidance on how to live a more mindful, authentic, and balanced life, you've come to the right place. In each video, we delve into the teachings of great minds, Rumi, the Stoics, Carl Jung, Nietzsche, Musashi, and more, unpacking their wisdom in ways that can be applied to our everyday lives. If you're ready to explore your own potential and deepen your understanding of the world around you, I invite you to join us on this journey of discovery. Today, we're exploring one of Rumi's most transformative quotes. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, embrace them. Let life flow through you. This quote challenges us to rethink our relationship with change and reminds us that the more we resist, the more we suffer. Through Rumi's teachings, we'll discover how to surrender to life's flow and embrace the inevitable changes that shape our journey. Change is the one constant in life. From the moment we take our first breath, we begin a process of transformation. Our bodies grow, our minds evolve, our emotions fluctuate, and our circumstances shift. Change is as natural as the seasons, and yet, for many of us, it's one of the hardest things to accept. We tend to hold on tightly to the things we know, to the familiar people, places, and experiences. We want to freeze time, keep things just as they are, because we fear what might happen if we let go. But change is inevitable, and it's through change that we find growth. In nature, change is constant. A seed grows into a plant, flowers bloom and wither, animals evolve, and landscapes transform over time. Every part of nature is in a constant state of flux, and yet everything is connected in a harmonious cycle. Life, as we know it, would not exist without change, and yet we often fight it. Rumi's wisdom encourages us to let go of this resistance. He invites us to surrender to the natural flow of life, to trust that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace. The changes that come our way, whether big or small, are not random. They are part of a greater plan, a greater unfolding of our lives. Instead of resisting, we can choose to flow with it, allowing ourselves to be carried forward into new experiences, new understandings, and new opportunities. The fear of change is something we all experience at some point in our lives. We fear the unknown. We fear losing control. We fear the discomfort that comes with stepping into uncharted territory. But why do we resist change so strongly? What is it that makes us cling to the familiar, even when it no longer serves us? At the root of our resistance to change is often fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of loss. We become attached to the way things are, and we believe that if we change, we will lose something important. This fear is often rooted in insecurity and a lack of trust in the natural unfolding of life. But in truth, change does not diminish us, it expands us. It allows us to grow, to learn, to evolve into the best version of ourselves. When we resist change, we stop our own growth. We close ourselves off to new experiences, new relationships, and new opportunities. Rumi's quote offers us an antidote to this fear. Instead of resisting, we can choose to embrace the changes that come our way. We can trust that every change is a step toward greater wisdom, greater strength, and greater understanding. One of the key messages in Rumi's quote is that resistance creates suffering. When we resist the flow of life, we create friction within ourselves. We fight against what is trying to control the uncontrollable. This resistance often leads to stress, anxiety, and frustration. Consider a time in your life when you resisted change. Perhaps it was a job that no longer brought you joy, but you stayed because you were afraid of the uncertainty of finding something new. Or maybe it was a relationship that had run its course, but you clung to it because you didn't want to face the pain of letting go. In each of these scenarios, the resistance you felt likely caused more suffering than the change itself would have. When we fight against what is, we create inner conflict. We try to hold on to something that is no longer aligned with our growth, and in doing so, we resist the natural course of our lives. Rumi's teaching reminds us that we don't have to fight against life. Instead, we can let go, trust the process, and embrace the changes that come our way. By surrendering to the flow, we free ourselves from the burden of resistance and open ourselves to peace and acceptance. Change is not just about letting go, it's also about embracing the new opportunities that change brings. When we allow ourselves to flow with life's changes, we create space for new beginnings. Each change is an opportunity for growth, for renewal, for discovering new aspects of ourselves. Imagine a tree shedding its leaves in the fall. It may seem like the tree is losing something, but in reality, it is preparing for new growth in the spring. The loss of the leaves makes way for new branches, new life, and new energy. This cycle of growth and renewal is a natural part of life. Similarly, when we embrace change, we allow ourselves to evolve. Change may feel uncomfortable at times, but it is through this discomfort that we grow. Whether it's a new job, a new relationship, or a shift in perspective, change provides us with the chance to expand our horizons and step into new versions of ourselves. Rumi's message is clear. By embracing change, we open ourselves to growth. We allow life to unfold in its own time, trusting that every experience, every shift, is part of the journey of becoming who we are meant to be. The metaphor of life as a river is powerful. Like a river, life is constantly moving, flowing, and changing. A river doesn't resist its path. It flows around obstacles, carves new channels, and finds its way to the ocean. It is flexible, adaptable, and always moving forward. Rumi's wisdom invites us to be like the river. Instead of fighting against the current, we can choose to move with it. Life will take us where we need to go, and by trusting in the flow, we can experience greater peace, freedom, and joy. The river does not question its path, it simply flows. When we allow ourselves to flow with life, we trust that we are exactly where we need to be. We let go of the need to control every aspect of our lives and instead embrace the natural unfolding of our journeys. By aligning ourselves with life's flow, we become more attuned to the present moment, to the beauty and the opportunities that are always available to us. At the core of Rumi's teaching is the idea of surrender, surrendering to the flow of life and letting go of our attachment to outcomes. When we resist change, we cling to an idealized version of how we want life to be. But by letting go of our need for control, we open ourselves to a deeper sense of peace. This doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means trusting that life knows what it's doing. It means surrendering to the idea that we don't have to have all the answers, and that each moment holds its own wisdom. By embracing change and letting go of our resistance, we find a sense of inner peace. We stop fighting against what is and instead accept that change is a natural part of the journey. And in that acceptance, we find freedom. Rumi's message is a reminder that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Life is constantly unfolding, and each change is a step on the path to growth and transformation. By letting go of resistance and trusting in the flow of life, we can find greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. As we continue on our own journeys, let us remember Rumi's words. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, embrace them. Let life flow through you. Change is not something to fight against. It is an invitation to grow, to learn, and to become the best version of ourselves. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Rumi's wisdom and how we can embrace the inevitable changes of life. If you found this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the Unfolding Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you know someone who could benefit from this message, please share the video with them. Remember, change is the river of life. Let it flow through you.